I think they should have fishes. Okay. I don't think they have any fishes. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Customization. Cancel. Okay. Hello. 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 I don't know if they have any features that one can adjust the. Okay. Doesn't look like. I don't know if they have. But anyway, I'm waiting for you guys. Before I start, I'll just have some water. Okay. Welcome to the live session. Just to answer your questions. Okay. My name is Ima. Ima is my name, and I live in Stockholm, Sweden. Welcome to the live session. I set up this live session because I've been receiving lots of questions from people. So come out, and let's answer your questions. Okay. Oh my God. Just this whole thing, you have to dress up to just come do something. Okay. I have to start now. Oops. Let's just start now. Okay. I'll do a brief introduction of myself. Actually, this is my first time of going live on YouTube, and I don't know how it works though. But let me just do it just like I do with my other social media content creation thing. So my name is Emma, and I'm based in Stockholm, Sweden. I'll give you a brief information about me. I came to Sweden to do my master degrees, and after that degree, I went ahead to do another degree and another degree. And I've worked also in different sectors, different fields here in Sweden. And I've mentored people who moved to Sweden for work, like professional people, people who have been working in the corporate world in other countries before they decided to move to Sweden for different reasons, maybe to move with their husbands or to move back to Sweden with their family or who choose to relocate. So I've been a mentor for them as well. Okay. Oh God, I don't know why my feels like my clothes is not really looking like how I want it to look like. Anyways, I'm gonna look this there. Gonna look pink. Okay, so I received two questions from. I received questions from two likely people, especially in my last video, and I'm gonna go in and answer those questions. This first question said, I read your YouTube bio and was thinking if you could talk about the studying and work first in Sweden, Stockholm. And one other person wrote said, I'm thinking of topics like uh, studying topics like application process for local international students, popular fields of study, student life and accommodation, cost and scholarship, language requirements, and the overall academic environment. And for the workforce, the question was like job market trends, in demand skills, how to network and find job opportunities, work culture, salary expectations, and the process for obtaining work permits or visa. As an immigrant, how was it studying in Swedish universities as a black woman? Okay, it's a lot of questions, a lot of things, but let's get into it. So I have to say that application into Swedish universities have already started. It started last month, October, So you can now go into the website. It has a general website. It's not like in the US or in Canada where you have to go to the separate university's webpage and apply to study there. In Sweden, they have a general website where everybody can go in and apply. And the application opened just last month. So if you are interested in studying in Sweden, please go in. I'm leaving the website on those in the comment section. So you can go into this website and you find all the courses, all the schools, all the programs, also the school fees as well attached to them. Okay. And then the next question is what is like the application process like? So once you get into this website, you will have to create your account, your name and email, and also probably your phone number and your address. And then first step is choosing the program that you want to study. Some people mistakenly go and choose courses. No, you should be choosing programs. People that can choose courses are usually locals, people who live in Sweden already, or people who live in Europe already. They are the ones that can choose the courses. But if you live outside of Europe and you want to move to Sweden to study, you have to choose the courses. There's a filter section there where you have to go in, like you have to go in and select programs instead of courses, and then you select whether you're looking for a bachelor degree, a preparatory class, a master's degree. You select all of that, and it will show you what you're looking for. Like it will show you all the programs that they have for autumn 2026, and then you select four only you're allowed in this first round. They do have two rounds. In this first round, which is mostly for international students, you're only allowed to choose four courses. And as soon as you choose sorry for saying that, you're allowed to choose four programs. And as soon as you select the four programs, you move to the next section, and then you have to choose an icon where they ask you where do you have your recent degree from. So if it's a bachelor degree, you can choose that. If you did your bachelor degree in another country, you have a section where you see the countries, and then you select which country where you had your bachelor degree or you had your master degree, and then you click send, and that's the first step of the application. The next thing is the universities will now have to go through your application and make sure to check if your application requires that you send in an application letter as well. Also, something important is to check if the school or the program that you are applying for have scholarships. Go through it, go through the school website attentively and see if they have any scholarships. And if you're not sure, you can also write to the school representatives that you will find on the website and ask if there is any scholarship for students in the different programs. I didn't realize that some schools, even here in Stockholm, offered scholarship. I met someone a month ago who moved to Sweden for studies who shared with me that she got a scholarship to study in one of the universities here in Stockholm. So do your due diligence very well. And if you want to ask questions, please don't hesitate to contact the school. They will get back to you as soon as they can. Okay. And once you're done with completing your application, it will get to the school. They will go through your application, making sure that you passed all the requirements for that program. And while you're doing that, while the school is doing that, it's also important that you send in your transcript. And in this case, when I did mine, it was the school who are your school, the school where you graduated from. They are responsible for sending your transcript to the university admissions here in Sweden. So make sure that you check how is the process now. Do you still need? Is the school still required to send it, or are you the applicant? Is it okay as the applicant to send in your transcript to the university admissions address, postal address? So by sending your transcript, they will have a copy of your transcript, and they will also weigh and check if you are eligible for that program. Once the school can ascertain that you are eligible for that program, your next step is that you are admitted. They will send you a letter, and that is from next year, somewhere around March. They will send you a letter saying, congratulations, you are now admitted to study this program at this university in Sweden. And then they would say, now it's time for you to pay your tuition fees and all of that. And if you don't have a scholarship, this is the time for you to pay your tuition fees. And all you have to do is to go ahead and pay your tuition fee through the information that the school will provide for you. They'll provide you their bank account or how you need to pay your school fees. And as soon as you're done paying your school fees, you should then book a visit to the embassy, to the Swedish embassy in the country where you're living in, and go for your visa, for your student visa. I know that during my own time, they did require some bank statements, some proof of funds, and all of that. And if you want to know more about this, go to the Migrations Bracket webpage and you will find more information about that. Okay, I will leave that in the chat, in the comments as well. Migration Bracket. Okay. Just give me a minute. I think my battery is going off. Okay. Oh my god. I didn't even start. My battery is already going off. Okay, so let's continue. The next thing that I was asked for the local students or for the locals in Sweden, for people who are in Sweden, the application process is usually easier and different. They are usually part of the second round that starts next year, but they can also be part of the first round as well. But in the second round, they have more chances to apply to more programs than for people in the first round. Like people in the first round are only allowed to apply to 4 programs, but people in the second round can apply to as much as 8, 9, or 11, 12, I think so, programs that they want to study. And mostly they don't have to pay tuition fees because it's either they are in the EU or they are in Sweden. Okay. And then the next question that I received is the popular fields of study. There is nothing like a popular field of study. People just study the area where they want to study, the field where they want to study, the field they feel that's what they want. So people study there. So there is nothing like a popular field of study in my own understanding. You have the student life and accommodation. Yes, student life is bustling here in Sweden. So as soon as you go to the embassy and then you get your visa, the next thing is to start packing your bags to come to Sweden. But before you do that, make sure you contact the school to know if they have any available accommodation, student accommodation for you. And if they don't, they would probably provide you with more information. Probably there is some private rentals in the city where you're going to study. They can guide you through with those information as well. One thing that we have, like one of the problems that we have in Sweden, but mostly in the big cities like Stockholm, is accommodation. So if you are studying in the universities in the big city, you might have a problem finding an accommodation, probably an affordable accommodation for you. But if you're studying in the smaller cities, it's usually easier to find accommodation that are affordable there. But people probably would like to be in the bigger cities or they might probably want to be in the smaller cities. But there is one other thing about the bigger cities and smaller cities. When people choose to go to the bigger cities to study in the universities in the bigger cities, the universities in the bigger cities are usually more expensive. The tuition fees are usually more expensive than the tuition fee for the universities in the smaller cities. when I came to Sweden, I studied in the smaller city, and my tuition fee at then was very affordable compared to people who studied at Stockholm University, Uppsala University. I would also say something like Linköping can be a big university. KTH is a big university, so the tuition fees are usually higher than probably someone who's studying in Umeå. But also that depends on the course or the program the person is studying. Some programs are usually cheaper, some programs are usually more expensive, okay? But then in all of that, tuition fees of schools in the smaller cities are usually less expensive than the big universities in the big cities, okay? And student life, it can be very interesting depending where you are. I didn't study first in Stockholm. I studied down almost down the north of Sweden, and the student life, my colleagues or my classmates or classmates, I don't know what you call it, we are mostly Italians. We had just few suites, and it was really really nice studying with them. But then it's Sweden. I remember the first few days I arrived there, it was so like I didn't like it was so lonely, and I started crying. Like I said, I wanted to go back. But then my friend had to introduce me to one of the teachers and ask the teacher to take care of me. And so the teacher was checking on me, showing me places, trying to explain to me how life is in Sweden. And by the second week, I met other people in my school, people that moved to Sweden from Africa as well, and I started to talk to them. And before the end of the 3, 4 weeks, I started feeling comfortable, happy being in Sweden. So so student life can be interesting depending on the people that you meet, or the people, if you maybe you meet people from your, also depends on the kind of person you are. So if you're a very open person, it might be easy for you to meet a lot of people. But then remember that there is a lot of things about boundaries, like knowing your boundaries, especially if you're coming from a culture like myself, that we're very open, we're very loud. In Sweden, it can be very different. So, like, you can meet people who are very different, and you have to learn how to respect that. But if you're very open, it might be very easier for you to meet people and enjoy your student life. One thing that I would like to say when it comes to student life is don't just focus on your studies, also focus on networking with people, showing up, going to student events, being active, being there, and just make sure that as you're there, you're being seen by people. You're playing roles, remarkable roles that people would remember that you are there. Um, because that was something that I didn't know. And my classmates were busy networking, meeting up, going to each other's houses, talking, and I didn't know that. I was just by myself reading. So by the time we were done with our degree, they've already built friendships. It was easy for them to hang out. It was easy for them to navigate the loneliness or the winter. Like, they were more, before the end of the program, they were more closer friends than myself, who focused on my studies without really building that um, closeness with my classmates. And what I could see was when they were looking for jobs, they were helping each other, they were assisting each other, like giving each other links, like, and then the ones that were able to get a job, they were um, telling their other colleagues or our classmates, oh, there is a job in Sweden, so I didn't get that slot. So as a student, there's a job there. So they were helping each other, but showing up, you're building the right network, like you are like you are there. You are not just there to read, you're there to meet people and to network. Some other things that I like about the student life here is it's very relaxed. It's not so tensed. It's a lot of things to read, but there are not things that are too heavy or too much. There are things that help you to think. I think that the Swedish education system is more of being a good critical thinker than being the best of the best. It's more of making you aware, making you open, making you to think more, to see different perspectives. Not saying that this is right, this is wrong, or it doesn't encourage you to cram. Like in my home country, our education system kind of, it's more of the cram work. You cram everything and then you go into the exam hall, you write the exam. It's totally different here in Sweden. It's not a place for you to cram, it's a place for you to tell the lecturer what you think, your own perspective in writing. So it encourages independency. They want to know what's in your mind. And then the lecturers were very kind. You could walk into their office, you could call them by their first names. There was nothing like Professor this, Mr. This, no, Ma this, no. It was mostly like, hey, Juliet, hi, Lars, hi, just their names. And they were fine with that, totally fine with that. That was really, it was shocking to me because back home in Nigeria, it's more of good morning, prof, good morning, this, good morning, ma, good morning, sir. But in Sweden, it was very much more relaxed that you could just call them by their names. And most of the lecturers were kind, they were respectful, they were not bullying, they were not degenerate, like they treated you like a human. And when it was time to write exams, I thought the exams would be very difficult. I was so scared. I said this because I said I have not learned anything. Because when we come to class, it was more like a discussion. And then when I was told, "Oh, we have an exam," I was like, "But we haven't done anything. So how am I going to pass this exam?" And I was afraid because that would be my first time of being part of the exam system, the examination system here in Sweden. But then my teacher said, "I'm going to send you your exams. You have to write it and send it to me before the end of so and so days." I was like, "Wow! So you could write your exam anywhere. Like it's not the exam where you have to sit in a hall and you're writing and writing." And and he said, "You're free to use the books, to use the essays that we read, the research. You can use whatever, or just make sure that if you quote them, that you write the name of the author. You have to write the page, like all of that. You just don't copy someone's work as yours. That's plagiarism." So I did write that exam, and when the results came out, I passed, and I was like, "Wow! So this is how it is." But my result, I think I came out with a C in that exam. But then I had that experience, and it helped and shaped me for my next exams that I wrote, and I did very well in those exams. So I would say that the Swedish education system isn't something that you should be afraid of or worried. Just read articles, read books, and just make sure that you are very independent in your writing. Like the lecturer wants to see your mind in paper. Okay. The next question that I received is about cost and scholarship. Like when I came to study in Sweden, the tuition fees were not that expensive. They were expensive, but not that expensive. But now are expensive. They are so expensive now, especially with the exchange rates to most currency, African currencies. It's very high. But you can see the tuition fee for any program that you want to study at the that website that I have in the comment section, universityadmissions.sc. So you will see the program, you see the tuition fee, and mostly Swedish universities would want you to pay just a deposit first. You don't pay the whole school fees, you just pay for per term. So if your program is going to be like 2 years, that means 4 terms. So they want you to pay for the first term first, and before the end of the first term, they want you to pay for the second term, and before the end of the second term, they want you to pay for the third term and fourth term as well. I do advise people that when they want to come to Sweden to study, they should choose a 2 year program. There is much benefit in studying a 2 year program than in studying a 1 year program, because with a 2 year program you will get a personal number, and that means you have access to many things, insurance, healthcare. But if you're here for just a 1 year program, which is almost like 10 months program, you would have only something called a samodina number, and with that samodina number you cannot do so much. You're not really in the system that much. If you want to use the healthcare, you have to pay in some way. Like it has not so much benefit, especially if you plan to stay in Sweden after your studies. The 1 year program won't really help you, because that means you have shorter time to find a new job. But with the 2 years, you have more time to build network, to understand the country, and to try to start to look for a job or even get a job. So I understand that the 2 year program can be expensive, but then if you look at the benefits that you get from it, you will understand that it's a better approach than going for a 1 year master program. And many schools offer scholarships. Yeah, many schools offer scholarships. Like when I came, I got like 50% tuition free. So I paid 50% of my tuition, and my school gave me 50% scholarship. And I know that some schools in the north do also give 100% scholarship for very exceptional students. And some schools here in Stockholm as well also give 90, 50, 20% scholarship, even 100% scholarship. You just have to dig out, reach out to the school, ask if they have scholarships. Most schools do have scholarship. Ask if they have scholarships, and you can now apply for those scholarships. Apart from that, I know that the Swedish Institute every year they do have scholarships to students who want to come to Sweden to study. They also have their own process. You can find out more information about that on their webpage, or you can go on Facebook, Swedish Institute, and you can read more on what is required of you to be able to get those scholarships. And the scholarship is really, really, really good. I think you should, if you don't have much money to take care to move to Sweden to pay your tuition, to pay your feeding, accommodation, you have to focus more on the Swedish Institute because their scholarship covers not just the tuition, it covers your living expenses, it covers your accommodation. They even give you more money on top of that. So they take care of you basically all the time you are in Sweden. Okay. But that means that it is very competitive because they virtually pay for everything. That makes that application and getting that scholarship very competitive. Your letter has to be very convincing and everything. So for more information on that, you can go to Swedish Institute, probably point essay, go to Google Swedish Institute, and you can go into the webpage and read more about this particular scholarship. The next question that I received is about language requirements. So when it comes to studying your master's degrees, your bachelor degrees, most of the programs for international students are usually taught in English language. And your lecturers are usually very, very good in English because they are not just anyhow, they are very well educated, well informed. So most of the language of learning and of teaching is usually in English, and you will find that in the university admissions webpage. As you're choosing the program, you can click and more, and then you'll find more information about the language of teaching or learning is English language and all of that. So the language of learning and of teaching, the higher institutions here in Sweden are usually in English. Okay. Another question that I receive is the overall academic environment. I would say that it's very great, very good, very supportive. I think that's the best word. Very supportive. You have access to the libraries, you have access to your lecturers, you have access to information that you need, to essays, and in sometimes you have access to the books that you need for those programs, either in the library or the lecturer will make sure that they can provide copies of it so that the student has access and the student don't have to really spend money going to buy those books. I would say that the academic environment is very supportive, very encouraging. If I have to compare it to my home country, no, it's nowhere to be compared. The academic environment in Sweden is very much better than the academic environment in my home country. Okay. So that wouldn't be like a problem. But the only problem that you might have is if you're coming to Sweden without, like, if you're not getting a scholarship from the Swedish Institute, and if you're not coming with enough money to support yourself, and that means like you're going to school and you have to look for work, and which sometimes might not be easy to manage or find work, then that means that you'll be put in a difficult situation that will make it difficult for you to concentrate in your academics, to concentrate in your studies. So I would advise that if you're coming to Sweden and you don't have enough money, please apply to the Swedish Institute scholarship, and or make sure that you have enough funds before you come to Sweden for studies. I think that I have really talked a lot about studying in Sweden and how it is about like studying in Sweden. It's also not like in Nigeria where you have to get F, or rarely do you find students get an F in their exams. If the teacher sees that you didn't do so well, they can request that you do your exam again, and they will support you. They will explain. They might have classes with you just to understand what your problem area, and they will make sure to help you so that you would get better in the next exam. So the intention is not to fail you. The intention is to make sure that to help to assist you, to make sure that you have all the information that you need for you to pass that program. So I would say that the academic environment in Sweden is so supportive. It's one of the best. That's why we have students from different parts of the world, from Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, coming to Sweden to do their master program. I cannot say much about the bachelor programs, but I know that they are also great because they are also run by the same university. I did my master's, I did my first master's, I did my second master's, my third master's, my fourth, which is in progress, all in Sweden from different Swedish universities. And the experience has been very, very great, very eye-opening, very informative. So go for it. If you want to study in Sweden and you're wondering, is this the right place? Is the academic environment the right area? Yes. And one thing that I just want to add is that the academic environment in Sweden doesn't tolerate any form of racism or bullying or discrimination. And if you notice that, you can always make a case. You can always bring it up, and they would handle that effectively. They will not give you any excuses. They will handle that immediately and make sure that you feel seen and part of the academic environment. Okay, I haven't received any questions so far. I I decided to go on this live to answer questions from other people. I've already answered the questions that I received. I still have another question on the work life, but I will come back live again, probably in 2 weeks or maybe next week. Maybe I'll be doing this live thing like more frequently, and I will talk about the work life because it's not just enough to come to Sweden to study. Especially if your plan is to live in Sweden, then the work aspect is also very important as well. So if you are very much interested in the work aspect, then just be checking on my page. I might say my page, my channel. I'll leave an information on when I'll be going live to talk about work because work is important. You need your money as you're paying for these school fees, as you're moving to a new country. You need plan B or plan A, plan B on how to get a job and be able to support yourself in your new country. So I'll have another live talking about work life, talking about getting jobs in Sweden. But let me add here as well. It's nice that you want to move to Sweden to study, but it's also nice that you know what you're coming to study. You should know what program you want to study and how that program can help you to get a job in Sweden. If that program is relevant to the Swedish job market, you need to ask yourself those questions so that you don't come here and study, and then at the end of the day, it becomes irrelevant to the labor market here in Sweden. And I don't think I would like anyone to pay all the school fees and then at the end of the day, they're not able to use their degree for anything in Sweden. I will have some water while I wait for questions. Any questions for me? Okay. I'm not seeing any question. Okay. Absence of any question. I think I might have to end the live stream, and I'll see you again in the next live where I will talk about work, and I'll also talk about studying like in Sweden in more detail as well. And don't forget to start applying to send the application. If you wish to move to Sweden to study, don't forget to send the application. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let's get me to 1K. I'm also on Facebook, Brown Nordic Girl. I'm on Threads, Brown Nordic Girl. I'm on Instagram, Brown Nordic Girl. And I do have my email address, fikafridays with Emma at yahoo.com. Please, 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 please. Don't forget to subscribe. Invite your friends to also subscribe. Share this live with them. And if you have questions for me, please leave me your questions in the comment section and I will get back to you. And on that note, I hope you have a lovely evening. It's Friday. I have to go join this church service with my church in Nigeria. And I will see you in the next live session where we talk about work. It's important. Work is important. Making money is important. And that topic, I love to talk about that topic because that topic is very, very important to me. And I know it's important for every other person as well. Okay. I'll see you in the next live and take care of you. Hey, dog. Bye.